Here's what no one tells women who are going through perimenopause. You are not falling apart. You're actually evolving. I know that you're working hard. Maybe you're running a business, you're raising a family, you're just trying to do everything right, but you're still dealing with unpredictable symptoms like bloating and mood swings and hot flashes, and maybe even more autoimmune flare ups. And the frustrating thing is that everyone you talk to, maybe even your doctor, is telling you that it's normal to feel this way at your age or it's just hormones. But that's not the whole story. Your body isn't breaking down, it's recalibrating. And this new season of life is actually an opportunity for you to rebuild stronger than before. I'm Jennifer Franchak, a functional nutritionist and the creator of the Autoimmune Harmony program, where I help women to uncover the root causes behind their flare ups, heal their gut, and rebalance their hormones so that they can move through midlife feeling strong and clear and in control. And if you're anything like the women that I work with, you've probably started noticing some changes that don't make sense. Like your energy is dipping for no reason, and your flare ups are hitting harder, and maybe your body just feels different than it used to. Now, once you start noticing these changes, like the extra fatigue, the inflammation, the unpredictable symptoms, it can be so easy for you to feel like your body is just falling apart. Because that's what we've been conditioned to believe, right? Every new symptom feels like another sign that our body is slowing down or giving up on us. But what if that's not true at all? What if these changes are actually just your body communicating and asking for something different? And this brings me to one of the biggest myths that I see women believe during this season of life. And honestly, I believed it too. And this is the idea that perimenopause is the start of everything going downhill. So you might go to your doctor and explain that you're more tired than usual and you can't focus like you used to, or maybe your joints are aching more often. And what do you usually hear? Welcome to getting older, or that's just how it is now. Maybe you've been offered an anxiety med or a sleeping pill, or you've been told to just wait it out. But no one's really showing you how to actually take control of your symptoms and how to support your body or helping you to understand what's actually happening beneath the surface. Now, if any of that sounds familiar to you, I'd love for you to tell me in the comments what symptoms you've been told is just part of aging. Because this is exactly where so many women get stuck. Your hormones are changing, yes, but that's because your body is finding a new balance point. Remember how I said before that our bodies are recalibrating? Estrogen and progesterone both play really key roles in how your body manages energy and inflammation and even mitochondrial function. And remember, mitochondria are those little powerhouses inside of your cells that produce energy. So as estrogen naturally starts to decline, your body adjusts how it uses fuel and regulates blood sugar and supports your immune system. So you're actually not in a downward spiral. Your body is readjusting so that it can protect and sustain you in this next phase of life. And when you have an autoimmune disease, that recalibration can kind of feel a little bit louder. You might notice more flares, more fatigue, and just more symptoms in general. And that's because your immune system is already on high alert. And as estrogen levels begin to shift, it can influence your immune signaling molecules, which are called cytokines. And these are essentially the messengers that tell your immune system when to calm down or when to ramp up. So when estrogen drops, the balance between the pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines can tip more towards inflammation. And at the same time, the hormonal changes can also affect our gut lining and our microbiome, which plays a huge role in our immune system regulation. So if your gut is already compromised as you get into perimenopause, these hormonal shifts can really amplify your symptoms, and this can make everything feel a little bit more intense. But again, that doesn't mean that your body is failing. It means that it's asking you for a different kind of support. And this is where I really want you to try to reframe your perception of how your body's changing during perimenopause. Because what if all of these changes, and again, I mean your fluctuating hormones, your gut acting up, your immune system feeling extra sensitive, what if these changes aren't random at all? What if it's your body's way of saying, hey, it's time to rebuild differently? And that's the perspective that I really want to invite you to think about next. You can think of perimenopause almost like your body is running a full system update. You know how when your computer or your phone does that, it has to update and you have to turn it off so that it can make all those changes. And then hopefully when you reboot it, or when you turn your phone or your computer back on, it has an improved performance. So it's basically the same idea with your body. It's basically clearing out old patterns and asking, can we run this more efficiently? So this is your opportunity to pay attention and to rebuild that foundation that maybe got stretched a little thin during your 20s and early 30s when you were running on stress and coffee and basically in survival mode. And here's the thing. Your body is incredibly intelligent. It just needs new inputs like steadier blood sugar and deeper rest and a calmer nervous system and better, more specific nourishment. And when you give your body those inputs, everything starts to come back into balance. And this means your mood, your metabolism, your digestion, and your immune function. So you don't have to fight against your body, you can actually partner with it. And once you start working with your body instead of trying to fight against it, everything starts to shift because your body isn't broken. You've probably heard me say this before, but it's important to remember it's not broken, it's communicating with you. And those flares, that fatigue, that brain fog, the hot flashes, this is all information. And when you understand what those signals really mean, you can finally start responding in a way that brings your body back into balance instead of constantly feeling like you have to put out fire after fire. And this is exactly what we do inside of my autoimmune harmony program. You'll get a personalized step-by-step plan that will help you to calm your inflammation, heal your gut, and dramatically reduce your flare-ups within 6 months or less. And in fact, a lot of my clients actually see their symptoms starting to go away within the first several weeks of the program, which is really exciting. And we do this by using advanced functional lab testing, including the GI map test and other comprehensive labs, which really help us to uncover what's going on under the surface, both in your gut and in your immune system. So we won't be guessing, we'll actually have real data to guide us. And I use this to help me create your personalized wellness plan and rebalancing supplement protocol, which we adjust throughout the program. Plus, you'll get printable, done-for-you meal collections with recipes and grocery lists that I tailor to your preferences so that healing feels really doable and sustainable. And most importantly, we make sure that your plan fits into your lifestyle. And I'm there for you during the whole process, bringing over 10 years of experience with me to answer all of your questions and help you along the way so that you never feel stuck or alone or overwhelmed. So if you're ready to stop worrying about when the next flare-up is going to happen and you're ready for a personalized plan to help you take control of your symptoms without feeling overwhelmed, this is your next step. All you need to do is click on the link below so that you can schedule your free 30-minute autoimmune insight session with me. And during this session, we can chat about your struggles, your goals, and I'll share some insights with you about what may be triggering your flare-ups so that you can start to take action immediately. And whether you decide to work with me or not, I want you to understand how important it is for you to connect the dots and find out what's actually triggering your symptoms in your flare-ups. When you understand what's really happening beneath the surface, you stop seeing your symptoms as random or out of control, right? You start to recognize the patterns, the way that stress, sleep, food, and hormonal shifts all interact. And that's when you can really start to take back control of your health. Because when it comes to autoimmunity and hormonal shifts like perimenopause, educating yourself is incredibly important. Once you start to understand your body's signals, you can then start to respond in ways that will calm your immune system instead of triggering it. Because let's face it, when you live with an autoimmune disease, your body is already a little bit more reactive, right? It's hypersensitive even to the small changes that we have in our stress and our hormones and our inflammation. So when estrogen and progesterone start to fluctuate like they do when we're in perimenopause, those shifts can really amplify our immune activity and increase cytokine production and make our flare-up patterns a lot more noticeable. So here's what I want you to think about. If you meet this transition with curiosity instead of fear, everything changes. Curiosity means taking the time to understand what's actually happening inside of your body rather than fighting against it. It means tracking your symptoms, asking better questions, and really becoming your own health advocate. And that's exactly what I teach my clients to do inside of my autoimmune harmony program. I teach them how to recognize their unique patterns so that they can respond with confidence instead of just feeling really frustrated because they're not getting anywhere. And here's why that matters, because when you start to understand what's really happening inside of your body, you naturally start to make choices that calm your biology instead of triggering it. And research shows us that when our cortisol levels are more stable, our inflammation decreases, our estrogen metabolism becomes more efficient, and our immune system becomes more reactive. So, in other words, when you start to shift from reacting to understanding, your body follows your lead. It moves out of defense mode and into healing mode. And that's what we want, right? We want to focus on moving towards autoimmune remission. And I see this all the time with my clients. When we calm the gut, we support the detoxification pathways, and we bring cortisol back into balance, that hormone chaos that happens during perimenopause really starts to quiet down, and their flare-ups become much easier to manage. Now, that's not what I would call decline. That's what I would call recovery, or shifting towards recovery. And that's what happens when your body finally starts to find its balance again. And that's the moment where everything changes. When you realize that your body isn't fighting against you, it's actually been fighting for you all along. So I want you to remember that your body isn't your enemy, it's your ally. And every symptom, every hot flash, every flare is communication. It's your body saying that something's off, let's rebalance. And when you start listening instead of just pushing through, which we all tend to do, everything begins to change. You start noticing patterns. You start to understand your triggers. You start realizing that you have more influence over your health than you've ever been told. This time of your life is your opportunity to become the expert on your own body, to know what it needs, to understand its signals, and to finally feel like you're in control again. Perimenopause isn't a punishment. I know it feels like it sometimes, but it's really not. It's a new season of life, and it's up to you to shape it, because when you start working with your body instead of against it, you're not just managing your symptoms, you're creating the foundation for the next decade of your health. See you in the next one.